Alright then, let's have a look at this. This is Mafex BANE Knightfall edition. So this box is massive. And it needs to be, because BANE is an absolute weapon. So this is number 216. And just looking at this figure inside the box, he looks absolutely brilliant. Let's have a look at him. So, first impressions. He's a heavy figure. He definitely has some weight to him. And he looks absolutely fantastic. A lot of people have been waiting in anticipation for this one, and as usual, Mafex have not disappointed. All of the sculpting details are there for this figure, and the paint work, at first glance, just looks immaculate. He's got those military boots. And this hose that comes down from his mask all the way down his arm. He's a big figure, so when you hold him in your hand you can feel really just how big he is. He's got to be one of the biggest figures that Mafex have released. Here's the extra bits that he comes with. It's mostly extra hands, an extra mask, face sculpt, and a figure stand. So this extra face plate, he looks more angry in comparison to this one. So he's squinting his eyes. So if you want a more angry BANE, then this is the one that you want to go with. Now to replace the face on this one, this is a bit different to what we're normally used to seeing. You can see that the face does come apart from the head. So instead of replacing the entire head, what you want to do is just pull this face off. And then we'll take the new one. You see, with the head, it is attached to this hose that runs down his arm. So the head will always be attached to the hose. You can take the head off, but as you can see, it's always attached to that hose. So they've gone with this, where you'll just take the face plate and replace the face instead of replacing the entire head. There's a pair of open hands. These are just the extra hands that he does come with. So those are the accessories that he comes with. He doesn't come with any additional weapons or anything like that. I mean, Bane, he is a weapon. He's a weapon himself, so he doesn't need to use anything to cause maximum damage. This guy will do it all on his own. So we'll have a look at some size comparisons before we look at any features and details. So I'm going to get some figures and see how he stands up against other figures that you might have in your collection. So this is the Mafex Hush Batman. Mafex Hush Joker. Poison Ivy. And this is the Dark Knight Returns blue version of Batman. Now this is an interesting comparison. I feel like this Batman matches Bane in terms of scale. So this Batman would definitely give Bane a run for his money. This Batman would give Bane actual competition. I think standing these two next to each other, I think that looks really good. Very stylized, very animated, having these two next to each other, but I think this works. I think this looks fantastic. Personally, this is my favourite Mafex Batman. And I think standing these two next to each other, that really does look nice. And this is the amazing Yamaguchi Venom, Agent Venom. Right then, onto the features. So I think as toy collectors and collectors of action figures, I think we're living in a time now where these companies are giving us the best versions of these characters. This is a very simple design, but I feel like what they've done is they've given us pretty much a perfect Bane. So this is the Knightfall edition, but I feel like anybody who's looking to add Bane into their collection, you really can't go wrong with this one. Show me a better Bane action figure. I don't think that there is one. I think this is, like with most releases that we're getting, especially with Mafex, this is the best Bane figure that I think's out there. Anybody who collects comic book figures or collects these action figures of superheroes, if you're not collecting Mafex, then I really think you're missing out. Because what they're putting out is just close to immaculate versions of these characters. And the feel and the quality, when you get these in your hand, you can feel the weight of him, and you look at the details, you look at the features that they're putting into them. It's almost like they're really going out of their way to add details onto these figures, which just makes them really, really hard to beat for the competition. So you can see the fine details, like they've put the hair on his arms. It is just painted on, but still it's a nice feature that they've added onto there. Look at the sculpt, the muscles that they've sculpted into this guy's body. He just looks menacing. He looks like he could do some serious damage. And that's what this character's all about. He is a weapon. And this figure just gives off intimidating vibes. Look at the size of his back. His back's absolutely huge. I can't put into words how big this figure really is. Down to the details of his military boots, all of the sculpting. You can see the lines here. You can see where they've put creases in his trousers. Just little added features like that. It just makes the figure, it just makes the character, you know, it brings the character to life. With his articulation, so we'll start with the head. Now this hose that we've discussed before, it is attached to the back of the mask, and you can see it runs all the way down onto his arm. And it doesn't get in the way of any articulation. You know, you're getting full range of motion with the articulation. Even though it is attached. I would be careful. It doesn't feel like it's going to break. It doesn't feel like it's going to snap off easily, but if you're going to be removing this head with that hose being attached permanently, then that is just plastic. It's a soft plastic. It's not rubber. It's like a soft plastic, a really soft plastic. And again, it doesn't feel like it's going to come apart. It doesn't feel like it's going to break easy. But like with these things, as always, just be careful with that. Same with the articulation of his arms. And the joints with this, it feels really sturdy. They move nice. Very easy to move. But the joints feel solid. Double jointed elbows. He's got some bicep swivel there. Now he does have this cut in his diaphragm, where you're getting articulation there, where you can bend him right in. And he also gets a waist swivel as well, so he's got a joint behind this belt, as well as this joint here. So you're getting swivel there, and you can also swivel this one. Two separate joints there in his abdomen. For his legs, you get the drop down hips. So with these joints, it just allows maximum posability. A lot of range of motion in his legs. For such a big figure, you will be able to get this into some dynamic poses. There's probably not a lot that you can't do with this. Double jointed knees. And that again goes back to what I was explaining before with these figures like Mafex. Almost with every release that we're getting, It's like they're going above and beyond with the articulation, with the sculpt, with the features, the details. Now these figures are expensive in comparison to like your Marvel Legends and things like that, but I've said it before and I'll keep saying it, I feel like you are getting your money's worth with these. I know it is above budget for some people, and people are happy collecting the likes of Marvel Legends and things, which is fine. But once you get yourself a Mafex figure or something, like an import, something of this quality, you can see that it's night and day in comparison to like what we're getting with Marvel Legends. And regarding how expensive these are, I feel like we're getting our money's worth with these. Once you handle them and you see the features and the details and you feel the way they move, their articulation, the plastics that they use, they definitely cannot be compared to something like Marvel Legends, in my opinion. So I'm seeing a lot of people doing this pose where Bane's breaking the back of Batman. So this here, you can see just how nice these figures can pose. You can have a lot of fun posing these. So my final thoughts for this Mafex Knightfall BANE. Definitely pick this one up. If you collect these type of figures or you collect comic book figures, definitely pick this guy up. You will not be disappointed adding this one to your collection. You will be disappointed though if you miss out on him and how much you're going to have to pay for this one if you have to buy him second hand, or if you have to buy him on the secondary market when he's sold out. So pick him up while you can at the minute. Yes, they are expensive, but the details that you get in the features, the way the figure feels, the plastics that they used, it's just absolute quality. So yeah, definitely pick this one up. You can have a lot of fun with him. He's nice to pose. He looks nice when you stand him on your display with all your other figures. He's really big. He's a chunky figure, and he's got some weight to him. He's very imposing, very menacing. So yeah, definitely get yourself this Mafex BANE Knightfall edition. Add this one to your collection. Honestly guys, do not miss out. Do not miss out on picking this one up. Get him while you still can. Absolutely brilliant.